Welcome to AI Explains. Okay, so imagine a student in your class. This student never studies for a specific test, not for math, not for history, not a single French verb.
Right.
Instead, they just sit in the library and all they do is read millions of random but, high-quality web pages, and then test day comes. And somehow, they basically ace every single subject.
It sounds like a cheat code, doesn't it? But that is essentially the breakthrough we're unpacking today. We're looking at the GPT-2 paper from Radford and the OpenAI team. This is really the moment AI pivots.
Yeah.
It stops being a narrow expert, like a factory robot built just to tighten one screw, and becomes this competent generalist.
A competent generalist, I like that. Because before this, the whole game was supervised learning, right? If you wanted a translator, you had to build a specific translation bot and feed it, like French to English dictionaries.
Exactly. Or news articles and their summaries for Summarizer. Each task had its own little specialist AI. But GPT-2, it just completely flips that on its head. It's an unsupervised multitask learner.
Which is a fancy way of saying they didn't teach it how to do any of those things.
Not at all. They trained it on one very simple task. Predict the next word. They just gave it this massive diet of text, and the only instruction was, guess what comes next?
And the big insight there, I think, is that to get really good at guessing the next word, you can't just memorize patterns. You actually have to start understanding things, context, logic, even facts about the world.
Yes. Language prediction becomes a proxy for reasoning. If you see the sentence, the capital of France is, the model has to know geography to get Paris right. It can't just be random.
Okay, so let's talk about that diet you mentioned. The text they fed it. It wasn't just like the entire internet.
Oh, no, that would be a disaster.
Yeah.
A lot of the internet is just, it's garbage.
Yeah.
So they were very smart about quality control. They built a data set they called web text.
Yeah?
And to build it, they scraped links from Reddit. But not just any links.
Only the good stuff.
Only the good stuff. The pages had to have a score of at least 3 karma.
Which I think is just a brilliant shortcut. You're using human curiosity as a filter.
Exactly. If at least 3 different people thought a link was interesting enough to upvote it, it was probably worth reading.
And that gets you about 8 million pretty decent documents.
And reading all that quality data is what unlocks this chameleon effect. The paper calls it zero-shot learning.
This is the real aha moment for me. It's being able to do a task you were never, ever explicitly taught.
Right.
So instead of showing a computer thousands of examples of translation, you prompt it. You give it a pattern.
You just type something like English sentence equals French sentence,
Yeah.
and then your English sentence, and you let the model finish the pattern.
And the wildest part of this, to me, is that the researchers actively tried to remove all non-English text.
Yeah, they wanted a purely English model. But, the internet is messy. A tiny amount of French slipped through, something like 10 megabytes. It's almost nothing.
Almost nothing. And yet GPT-2 still managed a BLEU score of 11.5 for French translation.
Which, to be clear, is not fluent, not by a long shot.
But for a model that wasn't supposed to know a single word of French, that's incredible. The ability just emerges.
It emerged everywhere. It smashed state-of-the-art records on 7 out of 8 language tests, reading comprehension, common sense questions, all without any specific coaching for those tasks.
Okay, but we have to talk about the talking unicorn in the room.
Yes. The famous Ovid's unicorn example.
Tell us about that.
So they gave the model a fake prompt. Something about scientists discovering unicorns in the Andes. And GPT-2 didn't just write a sentence or two, it wrote an entire coherent news article.
And just ran with it.
It ran with it. It invented a scientific name for them, said they had 4 horns, and even quoted a fake scientist named Dr. Jorge Perez.
It's so convincing, but that story also highlights the model's biggest weakness, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's brilliant at sounding human and being coherent, but it's not great at being, truthful.
It optimizes for coherence, not for facts.
Exactly. The paper points out that when summarizing real news articles, it would sometimes hallucinate details. It would mix up who was in a car crash or say a logo was on a shirt when it was really on a hat.
So it proves that scale gets you this amazing ability with language structure, but it doesn't solve what people call the grounding problem-tying language to what's actually true in the real world. So I guess the big takeaway is that you don't need a separate brain for every single task.
It seems not. If you build a big enough brain and just feed it enough interesting text from the internet, it learns to do pretty much all of it.
Which is an amazing thought.
It really is. It suggests that what we think of as intelligence might just be a side effect of getting very, very good at predicting patterns.
Which leaves us with a final thought to wrap this up. This model learned all this just by reading Reddit links from 2017.
Yeah.
If that level of prediction drives this much apparent intelligence, what happens when a model stops reading just the good stuff and reads everything?
That is the experiment we are all living through right now.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll catch you next time.